Welcome to another progress report on the Foundation. This week I did a lot of work on the AI. Their events take time. They'll sit there and try and complete the event. This also allows so that an event can have a location, and if you happen to get there and disrupt the event they're doing, say building a base, you can intercept their activities and stop them. Destroy their bases, whatever, before they even complete them. That is, given that you have the right intelligence on them. They also pick according to their preference. There's weights on each AI for whether they prefer to expand, whether they prefer to gather intel and resources, whether they prefer to engage in diplomacy and combat, and depending on those weights, they're more likely to choose those kinds of methods. But because there's fuzzy logic involved, they may pass over their preference to do something else. Those values can be easily changed in the files, and so we can easily tweak just how likely the different AIs are to do different things. They also, above preference or beyond preference, there are weights to actions. Building a base, for example, might be an expensive action where gathering more resources might be cheap. They'd prefer to do the cheaper action and build up resources. But as they build up resources, things may happen that increase that cost of gathering resources. And so after a while, they look and they decide, oh, it's actually much cheaper to try and build a base right now, so I will build a base instead. So as it continues to develop, it should be fun to see how some of these interactions work out and to see if it works as well as I think it will in my head. Maybe it won't. But hopefully eventually all the kinks will get worked out. I don't have much to show you on it yet because there's still a lot of work going on it. Also because I got a little irritated at it as I was working on it this week, and I decided to do some other things that were going to be, real simple and short. They ended up not being simple and short. But they need to be done eventually, so that's good. First thing was I worked on color management in the game. There's going to be several different color schemes that will be utilized depending on the situation. An emergency color scheme for when, XK scenario is breaking out, the UI will adopt an emergency color scheme until you handle that XK scenario. And depending on what your paradigm is, the UI is going to shift and change color into that paradigm's color scheme. So a lot of work went into the color manager, and as part of that, a lot of work went into trying to figure out good color combinations. And I think it's getting better. I think that the kind of gray scale, white scale color scheme that I'm getting out for starting is a lot more attractive and yet very clinical and empty of emotion, which is a goal that I have for the UI. The emergency colors are getting a lot better, and I'm starting work on a lot of the paradigm color schemes, but it's hard figuring out how to get a lot of high contrasting colors that are still monochromatic, so that's been interesting. The last little bit that I worked on, though, that I thought was going to be super simple but was rather complex to code, is the personnel tab I started work on. In this tab, you'll be able to see, one, a list of all your current staff, and right now this is still not a complete tab, that is for sure. There will be some search functions added into it to be able to search alphabetically and by specialties. If you click on the panel, it will give you the detailed information showing everything about the person, including what events they've taken place in, what research they've contributed. This personnel concept isn't, new or shocking to anyone that's seen XCOM. This is a basic staple of XCOM, is to give you these crew people that you get to interact with and build up and improve, and so you end up getting attached to these people. You've become attached to them because of all the different missions you've taken them through and the customization you've done. And I really wanted to carry forward that concept. But there was something that XCOM didn't do that I think was critically important for the Foundation. And that is, in the XCOM games, researchers are a stat. However many researchers you have is just a number. In the Foundation, the researchers are super important characters, and they have a lot to do with what happens in all the stories. So I thought, let's not just have the MTF team members, the soldiers, be actual characters that you can interact with. I wanted the researchers to be characters as well. And this kind of goes into some of the research we'll be doing and some of the containment breach stuff I'm planning in the future. But this means that you'll hire on different lead researching people, such as the mainstream characters I have here on the staff. And you will interact with them, you will level them up, they'll get different abilities, different specialties. If you take advantage of those specialties, you'll get bonuses in how fast you improve and develop the entire Foundation. And proper utilization of your staff, including soldiers and researchers, will be critical to being super successful in the game. So here's the list of the current staff, all mainstream people, but there's also a tab here, and it's also not complete. This whole screen took a lot longer than I thought, but it's coming along. This is the staff of people that your agents have been out and have scouted out as possible talent for you to hire on to the organization. And this will include both possible soldiers, possible researchers, and you'll be able to determine that by bringing up their details, looking at their specialties, things like that. And so some of these people will be various authors from the site. I'm going to try and put a huge list that I can pump in a bunch of various authors that have member pages on the site, that their characters may not be huge storyline significant characters, or canon significant, whatever term you want to use, but still are, have donated a lot of material to the wiki, enough so that they've gotten a member page. And I'm hoping to put a lot of those into the game to be randomly chosen as scouted people that you can hire in. I will also, though, have the game randomly generate individuals that you can hire in, and those individuals you'll be able to change their names, customize appearances. I wish I had more of this to show you, but it's been a bit slow going. There's been a lot of things to consider and build here. But the great thing is that this is getting a lot of back-end work done as far as people and facilities go for getting that connected up for the alpha that I hope will come out April or later. And those are the main things I've been working on. Next week I will probably continue to push on this personnel tab, get more of that done and more of the back end on that done. But of course I've got to focus on and keep working on the AI. It was just nice to take a little break from it and work on this tab instead. I definitely have a lot more work to go on the AI, but I'm much more hopeful now that a lot of the key decision-making aspects are in place. So hopefully you're getting excited. I am too. I'm starting to see a lot of back-end pieces get connected together, and I just can't wait till I can get this out for people to play with. So I'll catch you next week.